Listed in the 1990s Guinness Book of World Records for reading more than 25,000 words a minute and writing more than 100 words a minute, today's guest is recognized as the world's fastest reader. He uses his talents to train people on how to stay on top of the information their success depends on. Welcome to the show, Howard. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Mirrortalk. I've been looking forward to this interview, to talk with the fastest reader in the world according to Guinness Book. That's awesome. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. How did you discover that you could read and write faster than anyone in the world?
Well, I grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, in New York, and it was a bad place to grow up. Lots of gangs. It was like the movie West Side Story without the dancing. I met Bernardo. He had a knife and he wasn't like. I found the safest place in my neighborhood was the library because gang kids would never go there. The worst thing in the library is a paper cut. So I went there a lot and had college reading when I was 11 because that's what I did. And when I was 17, I went to the State University of New York, Binghamton to major in biology. In the second half of my junior year, I get interested in the brain and learning. And so I decided to also do a psychology major and be a psychobiologist, not a psychotic biologist. That's Frankenstein. Psychobiology is the biology of behavior. So I told the dean, he said, Howard, you haven't had any psych courses. You have 1 year left. You have to do the whole 4-year psych program in 1 year and finish the bio program at the same time. And I had 3 jobs. I was working 18 hours a week. He says, you have to take 6 science courses, 2 4-hour labs. Lab reports took 16 hours on a slide rule. So it was 40 hours a lab, 18 credits of science, and I worked 18 hours a week. And he said, you're not smart enough. And that's when I realized they never taught me how to learn in school. They told me what to learn and why to learn and what will happen when I don't learn. But not why you hear a song on the radio once, you never forget. You read the 7 habits of highly effective people. The next day, you don't know any habits. I got up to 80 pages a minute. I finished the psych program in 1 year. I took the GRE, which is the SAT in biology, and I reviewed 48 books in 3 nights, like biochemistry, cell physiology, genetics. I got 3 questions wrong. So I was in the 99th percentile in the world. And then I wondered if it was me or the system, because there's a difference between you can do something or you teach how to do something. That's not the same. So I took children 11 to 15 and taught them what I did. And they did a 30-chapter book in lifelong developmental psych, which is a sophomore college course at 11 to 15 in a week. And they took the AP test. 18 kids took it, 15 got college credit in 1 week. So that told me it wasn't just that I could do it, it was learnable. And today we'll talk about how it's done, and we'll actually show people how to start reading faster, comprehending, remembering the things that matter for being successful in a knowledge-based economy.
Wow, that's so awesome. What a wonderful journey you've had so far to become, the world's fastest reader. And as you've said already, you develop, this cutting-edge assimilated techniques that turn information overload into information assets, basically. So can you share some of these techniques and how they work with us?
How does it work?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you the overview first, and then I'll start you on how to do it, which is probably better than just telling you how it works, but making it so you can do it. So when you're driving in a car, I know you have the Autobahn in Germany, you go really fast.
Yes.
You can go, you look front, back, left, right. When you're reading the road, you're reading all over. You're watching the road, you're watching your gauges, you're listening to the radio, you're on the phone, you're talking to your friends at very high speed, simultaneously with no effort, and it's boring. You read a book around 200 words a minute. That's the norm. And the next day, you probably remember 10%. Why is going at high speed on the Autobahn easier in 4 directions processing than reading a book in 1 direction? The reason is in the car, you view everything like a movie and you're seeing images and taking things in and in a analog fashion, all the data at once. When you're in a book, it's like someone's in the back of your head talking one word at a time. Most people read the same speed they speak. So it's digital. You're using your eyes to hear a book instead of see a book. So I'm going to teach you in a moment how to get started seeing a book instead of hearing a book if you would like. And it will increase your speed and our audience by 20 to 40% in about 3 minutes.
Yes. How do we do that? Can you teach us, please?
Pick a book you've read, preferably nonfiction. Since you already know what's in the book, there's only one thing that could go wrong. You're going too fast. Otherwise, you should know what you think because you read it already. Yes. Get a timer and time yourself. Read normal, the way you would read normally. See how far you get. And then take a pencil and mark off at the end of the minute where you finished. So now you say, that's how far I can read now in a minute. Now the magic. Go to the second chapter and take your hand and go across one line at a time with your eyes following your hand. This is important. As fast as you can comprehend. So as long as you understand, go quicker and quicker and quicker till you don't. That's when you know it got too fast because you should understand what's in the book.
Yes.
And when it got too fast, slow down just enough so the comprehension's back. And for 5 minutes, go as fast as you can, understanding, not faster, not slower, with your eye following your hand, continually moving. Now go back to the first chapter where you tested your speed. Time yourself for a minute, use your hand, go as fast as you could comprehend. And that little mark that you did on the first time, you'll go past it by 20 to 40%. Just doing that one change. That's what learning does. We teach people how to put all this together. And the next step is comprehension, if you'd like to see that.
Yes. And I think on your website, you have this lot of courses on berglearning.com. You have a lot of reading courses. You have infinite memory.
Yes.
You have creative writing also. But can you tell us already how we could comprehend when we read so fast, when we just follow our eye with our and follow our hands on the pages and just read through as fast as that? How can we still comprehend?
You're 100% right. Nobody wants to read fast, but they want to learn fast. So about 20 years ago, when MSNBC first started in the United States, one of the first hosts was Dick Cavett. Now, Dick Cavett was a very famous talk show host many years ago. And we got to be friends during the interview. And when it was over, he stayed, we kept talking. And he said, Howard, I got a funny story to tell you. I interviewed Woody Allen, the actor who took Evelyn Wood's, the speed reading course, and read War and Peace, which is a giant book, in 5 minutes. He said, Woody, that's amazing. What do you remember? And Woody said, it's about the Russian Revolution, and that's all I remember. And that was speed reading. It's a science book. It's a math book. You didn't learn any science, and you didn't learn any math. It was just too hard for you to do. So what I did is I went to graduate courses and I learned about how the brain actually reads, which is very different than what they did before. It was all those hand movements. So with the old system, you had to read fast always or never. You could never go in between. If you slow down and learn a word or a name, you lost your speed. So I'm going to show you one of the secrets now. It's called schema, and I'll demonstrate how it works. Yes. I'm going to read a passage that has no schema, and it won't make any sense. Then I'll read it a second time with a one-word title that has schema, and it'll make total sense. And you'll see immediately what schema does. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. We're ready, yes.
This is the schemaless text. It'll be confusing. This is an easy thing to do. If possible, you could do it at home, but you could always go someplace else if it's necessary. Beware of overdoing it. This is a major mistake and may cost you quite a bit of money. Makes no sense. Now I'll read it again with a word that's the title, and everything will make sense because it has schema. Laundry. Laundry. This is an easy thing to do. If possible, you could do it at home, but you could always go someplace else if it's necessary. Beware of overdoing it. This could be a major mistake and cost you quite a bit of money. Now you know what's about laundry. That's schema. So what I'm teaching people is where these clues are. They're like a decoder ring. If you know where they are, you can go 2, 3, 4 times faster with better understanding because you're using what the brain does to make sense of words on the page. So suddenly you could slow down to learn a new word or an idea or a number and then go right back fast again, which wasn't possible. In the past, it was all mechanics that made you read fast and not learning. Now it's more, I use reading to find what I don't know and need to learn, and I teach how to find what you need to know. Study skills for analyzing what you didn't understand. You read the calculus book, you learned all the equations and failed the test because you don't know how to use them. It wasn't that you didn't learn them, you don't know what they do or how they work. Different problem. You read it, you memorized it, and you failed anyway. So I'm teaching people how to learn, how to understand, how to make sense out of things that confuse them. And then I'm teaching them how to remember it, which we'll go into today. And then I teach them, and this is important, how to be in the right state. So you don't get nervous or anxious and can't remember anything you learned taking a test or in a meeting. And when you combine all of that, reading fast, comprehension skills, memory skills, emotional intelligence skills, study skills, exam skills, now you can do much more than simply read quicker. You can understand better and retain it for a much longer period of time. And that's kind of what we'll be doing today.
Yes. And, the end goal is for us to, read something and also be able to remember at the end, like, for example, for examinations. So can you tell us how we could, recall everything that we've learned or everything that we've read so far?
There's many ways, and it depends on the subject. The way you learn a language is in how you read a novel. The way you read a novel is in how you read a chemistry book. But I will show you a technique now that will get you started. I'll give you 10 things to remember. I won't show you how. You won't be able to. Then I'll show you how, and you will be able to not only remember it, but backwards and forwards with no effort in less than 3 minutes. Then when you're done, I'm going to tell you this isn't an exercise. It's a tool you'll use for the rest of your life. And one of the secrets is you remember 10% of what you read and 90% of what you say and do. You're going to want to remember this because it's a tool. When I ask you to say and do, that'll lock it in. So you and our audience, please do that. So first, I'm going to give you the 10 things. You want to remember pole, shoes, tricycle, car, glove, gun, dice, skate, cat, and bowling pins. Now, if you're a normal person, you might know a few of them. But if I say, can you tell me all of them backwards right now? No effort. No. I'm going to say probably not.
I can't.
Well, you will. You will. In 3 minutes, you will. Perfectly. Backwards, forwards, middle out. Nothing. You won't forget a single one. So how do we do that?
Yes, please.
Well, thousands of years ago, the Greeks discovered a shortcut for learning a list, which is what we're doing. And they said, if you have a list, it's in your brain already. It's hanging there. And what do you do with hangers in your closet? Hang things on them.
Yes.
I'm going to, Toby, you know how to count to 10. And I bet everyone listening now can count to 10. So that's hanging in your head. We're going to take 10 numbers to learn those 10 things super fast. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 1 looks like a pole, like a flagpole. So when I say 1, you say pole. What's 1?
Pole.
Perfect. You wear 2 shoes, so 2 is shoes. 2.
Shoes.
What was 1?
Pole.
Perfect. 3 is a tricycle. It has 3 wheels. What's 3?
Tricycle.
2.
Shoes.
1.
Pole.
Getting smarter. 4 is a car. It has 4 tires. Car. What's 4?
Car.
What was 2? Jump to 2.
Shoes.
1.
Pole.
3.
Tricycle.
Your brain seeing pictures.
Yes.
5 is a glove. 5 fingers in a glove. What's 5?
Glove.
3.
Tricycle.
1.
Pole.
Perfect. 6 gun in Texas where I lived. The cowboys, they like 6 guns. 6 gun. What's 6?
Guns.
4.
Car.
2.
Shoes.
Excellent. 7's lucky in the game of dice. 7, lucky 7. What's 7?
Dice. Lucky dice.
What's 5?
Gloves.
3.
Tricycle.
1.
Pole.
Almost done.
Wow.
Rhymes work. 8 skate, like a roller skate. 8 skate. 8 skate. What's 8?
Skates.
6. What did they love in Texas?
Guns.
4.
Car.
2.
Shoes.
Almost there. 9. Cats have 9 lives. So 9 is a cat. What's 9?
Cats.
7 is lucky in what game?
7 is dice. Yeah.
Perfect. 5.
Gloves.
3.
Tricycle.
1.
Pole.
Last one is 10.
Yes.
There's 10 bowling pins in a bowling. 10 bowling pins. What's 10?
Bowling pins.
What was 1?
Pole.
What was 2?
Shoes. Yeah.
What was 3?
Tricycle.
4.
Car.
5.
Glove.
6. Texas.
Gun.
7's lucky in.
Dice.
8 rhyme with.
8 is what's it? I forgot what it means.
You put it on your feet. Skate.
Skate. Sorry,
skate.
It's skate.
It's
yes.
okay. That's how you learn. You rehearse it.
Yeah.
9. What has 9 lives?
Cats.
And what was 10? The last one, the game
Bowling
of
pins. Bowling pin.
Perfect.
Bowling.
Here's
Yes.
how you use this. This is the Speedworm Numbers. So imagine you're in a hotel and your room is 314. How many times time you got to the lobby if you got your room number? So we turn numbers to pictures and make a movie. 3, tricycle. 1, pole. 4, car. A tricycle hits a pole on a car. See the movie. A tricycle hits a pole on a car. Tricycle, what number?
3.
It's a pole.
1.
On a car.
4.
That's your hotel room.
Nice.
Pole, car. It's also pi. In geometry, when you measure a circle, 3.14 to measure the circumference or the area of a circle. So now you have a way to learn numbers. The 0 is the 10 bowling pins. You have 1 to 9.
Yes.
And then the 0 is the 10 bowling pins. So you can now make pictures for each number, string them together in a movie. And when you play your movie, you remember the number. You can use it in business for due dates, percentages, room numbers, phone numbers. You can use it in school for science and math and for history. So this is a way to speed learn lists. Lists that you want to remember.
That works awesomely well. Like you have the bowling pins, then you have the cards, then you have the skates, then you have the dice, then you have the gun, then you have the glove, then you have the car, then you have the tricycle, then you have the shoes, then you have the pole. Awesome. That's so great.
And you know what? 3-year-old children can do this when they're very, very young. You don't tell them they're studying, you tell them they're playing a game. What they're learning is how to remember. So when they're learning things later, as they're getting older, their brain has already learned a strategy for learning that other kids don't know. The reason a lot of kids don't do well in school isn't that they're dumb. Nobody tells them what they're doing wrong and how to fix it. My students, we taught them how to learn before we taught science or math or any subject. So they were doing college classes when they were 11. One of my students at 11 was a C student. At 22, he was an English professor. Wow. Another did 4-year college in 6 months, learned Chinese in 3 weeks, became a missionary, sold his company when he was 40 for $38 million.
Wow.
Another one passed the bar, became an attorney at 19 in California. Another graduated at 16 with a 4.0, majored in economics, got a master's in math at 19 with a 397, is now a Yale professor. So it's been very, very exciting to do this with people around the world, students, companies, military, U.S. Special Forces at Fort Bragg, the Royal Thai Army, the Canadian Army. And it's been very, very exciting for me to travel around the world teaching people. I haven't been to Germany, maybe interest there, but I haven't done any programs in Germany. My program is in German, by the way. We translated the berglearning.com reading program into German. It has subtitles. So if you don't use English as your primary language, you can learn it in 109 different languages. So whatever language you do speak, it's probably there, and you can use it in any language to read quicker and better.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Like, I know you are available in 127 countries, like with over hundreds of thousands of students all across the world. That's so amazing. And I can see why your Time Warner books, which is entitled Super Reading Secrets, is in its 28th reprint right now. That's so awesome. That's a wonderful success that you've had already. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I've written my last book. I wrote in 5 hours. I wrote my last book in 5 hours. It went #1 on Amazon the next day. It was an ebook. So yeah, you can write a book a day very easily. This is some of the things that I teach. This is how I have young people doing college work at 11. One of the groups I had, they did 28-page MLA cited reports. As you know, in college, that's one of the psychological, there's a biological notation. There's this APA notation. MLA is one of the notations. They did 28-page MLA cited reports on the book of Matthew in 4 hours at the graduate level. And that was 11 to 15-year-olds. So it's not something most 11-year-olds are doing. But these are the things that happen when you learn how to learn. Now, how would you use it in business? To write copy, to create a better website, to learn to communicate better with people.
Yes.
It's all about information. I had an 84-year-old Ruth Lubin, and she read books in 3 hours the day after I taught her, and she was 84. So I'm going to say you and all the people watching can easily read a book in an hour. So imagine now, for the next year, every day you learn a skill. One day you learn Photoshop. One day you learn how to write headlines. One day you learn how to do marketing copy. Every day, a new skill. At the end of the year, you have 365 new business skills. Where do you think your business is going to be financially in a year if you've learned 365 new ways to improve it? And you did that every year, year after year after year after year after year. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking a company now that's $100 million a year company to $1 billion. By teaching them how to use information and use it better, because it's all in information. It's all businesses today using data.
Yes, but taking your example, learning 365 skills in a year, for example, how can we, keep all of these skills in our brain without, mixing them up, for example, or without going crazy?
Good question. That's what you're saying is EQ. EQ is emotional intelligence. So when I was training the special forces, I put a lot of time on that because they're very well trained. But if someone's trying to kill you, you might not remember what they told you if you're awake for 4 days with no sleep.
True.
And if you forget what they told you, you can get killed. It's not just a bad day. It's your last day. You have a bad day, you go home late. They have a bad day, they don't go home. So I'm going to show you one of the things I taught them, how to wake up. How to create emotion. So here's what we're going to do. We know the left side of the brain controls the right and the right the left. So do this with me. And everyone watching, take your left hand, touch your right shoulder, do it. Take your right hand, touch your left shoulder, alternate. Left to right, right to left, like the Macarena. Keep moving. Left to right to left, do it. Left to right to left. Perfect. Now, ideally, we should stand, but we're on microphones, so it won't work. But for watching, standing is even better. Take your left hand to your right knee and right hand to your left knee, to your knee. And when you're standing, the knee moves. So both sides of your brain are doing something. Great.
Yes.
Grab your thumb like I am in your hand and say this like you mean it. I feel great.
I feel
like
great.
You mean it.
I feel
like
great.
I mean it.
I feel great.
Like I mean
I feel great.
Yes. If you go, I feel great, that's how you're going to feel. No, you want to feel great, not great. You want to have that energy. If you don't have the energy, you can't make it happen. So I'm going to show you now how to create the state. We're going to do 3 sets at my speed. Ready? Shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How do you feel?
I feel great.
Great. Yes. Perfect. Yes. Next time a little faster. Ready?
Yes. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel.
I feel great.
Great. Yes. This time as fast as you can go. And when you're standing, stay back from the desk so you don't bang your knees. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How do you feel?
I feel great.
Great. Yes. Now, you know what happens when you do this 3 times? Nothing. And you probably would like something. So let me show you that works.
Yes.
Remember Pavlov? He rang a bell. He fed a dog. He rang a bell. He fed a dog. He rang a bell, and the dog drew. That's our Rotary bell. I'm the president of my Rotary Club. So you don't want to drool, but you do want to feel more energy.
Yes.
The latest studies show habits take 90 days, not 30. So if you do this drill every day, slow, medium, fast, now you're in an important meeting. You don't want to stand and start tapping your shoulders. They'll throw you out of the room. You grab your thumb and say to yourself, I feel great, yes. And your brain remembers this is your bell. And every time you woke and stimulated your brain, you woke up, you went, I feel great, yes. And that's all you need to do, and you'll wake up. And that's what I was teaching the U.S. Special Forces. So I teach relaxation, I can teach focus, I can teach creativity, I can teach waking up, all the different states you need. And now when you need them, you can turn them on like a light bulb. Instead of like trying to get into a smart state or a calm state or an aware state, you can just create any state you want, anchor it, create a conditioned stimulus, and then trigger it when you need to elicit the state. Now, I wanted to show you why I told you to scream. There was the longest running show on TV was the Joe Franklin show. 50 years, one person. There's been longer running shows, but not one person. So I was on the last 3 weeks he was on the air, and I asked him, what's your secret? How did you get to be on the air for 50 years? No one's ever done this. He looked at me and he said, sincerity. And when you can fake that, you can do anything. I want you to know, no one can fake sincerity for 50 years. Nobody. I don't care how good an actor you are. Not for 50 years.
No.
And you can't trick your brain. If you don't feel great, you won't feel great later when you squeeze your thumb because you didn't feel it to begin with. So you got to have that feeling of calmness or energy or focus. If you don't actually feel it, there's nothing there. You can't make it happen again later. You could make it happen now.
True.
And that's why I kept saying more energy, more energy. And you got it. You did exactly the right thing.
Thank
and
you.
that's the state you need when you're tired. You're going to a class after work and you want to stay awake. You can't get coffee. Or you'll be up all night. You won't get any sleep. So or you're in traffic driving home and you need to wake up. It'll wake you up. So it's a great skill to be able to turn the brain on and off however you need it to by creating these different triggers and then triggering them when the state is needed. That's what we do. So you're taking a test and you trigger a state of relaxation. You're not nervous. You're not worrying. You're busy taking the test. Now you're getting tired because it's a long test. You trigger awakeness. And you keep going. Or you're in a business meeting that's going for hours and you can't leave, wake up, or you get energy, or you stay calm. Whatever it is you need, you can create it ahead of time and then make it happen when you need to. Very, very important. The single most important thing you can learn is emotions and how to control your own emotions so you don't get angry all the time or frustrated or depressed or anxious, and how to interact with other people who have emotions so that you're in a position of being calm, focused, and rational when everyone else is having a breakdown and freaking out what's going. Think about that movie Apollo 13 when the ship blew up and they're yelling, "It's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault." And then the other guy looks and says, "Who cares? Who cares whose fault it is? We can figure out how to get home or we're all going to die." You want to yell at each other whose fault it is, but deal with the fact it just happened. And if we don't work on this together, we're all going to die. Then you can worry about whose fault it is. Okay. Right now, do you want to live? Or do you want to yell at each other? He got his crap together. He stayed in a rational state, and he made them go back into that state. Often in business, things go poorly. It's part of business. Things don't always go the way you plan.
That's true.
A lot of people get frustrated, angry, nervous, frightened. You can't solve a business problem when you're in that state. The state is debilitating. It cripples you. So no matter what is going on, and things do go on, if you could stay focused and calm, I'll tell you the question to ask. It's the single best question to ask in life when you have a problem.
What's that?
The question to ask is, what's the next best thing I can do now? Not, why is this happening to me? This isn't fair. What can I do right now to get where I want to go, given what's going on right now? Your brain is a computer. It'll answer the question you ask. Say, why am I a loser? It'll tell you why you're a loser. If you say, how can I be successful? It'll tell you how to be successful. Which question you want answered? So when you're having a problem and having a really rough time, ask yourself, what's the next best thing I can do now? And your brain will look at where you are, and it'll look at where you want to be, and it'll say, this is the way to get there. Instead of, why is this happening to me? This isn't fair, which is what a lot of people do. Successful people don't do that. They look for answers, just like in the spaceship. They looked for answers and got everyone home alive because they focused on solutions instead of problems.
Yes. You ask yourself, what's the next best thing to do? Yeah, I love that question. Yes.
And the brain will tell you. It'll only answer the question you ask. You say, why is this happening to me? It'll tell you you're a loser, or you're obnoxious, or you're stupid. There's a whole lot of things it can tell you. Well, how's that going to fix anything? It isn't. It's going to make you feel worse. But if you ask, how can I fix this? It'll do that too. So think about that next time you're having a really bad day, or someone says something that gets you angry, and it happens. And it hurts your feelings. You have to learn how to stop reacting to what happens around you. You have to start focusing on how you can control what's happening. You're the hammer instead of the nail. You're the one creating your destiny instead of reacting to what everyone is doing to you. So when I got out of college, I studied consciousness. I was a yogi. I lived in an ashram on weekends. I did a lot of meditating. I've been meditating for 50 years.
Wow.
And one of the things I learned was how to control my mind, stay focused, and focus on the problem and solution, not on feeling bad about it. And as long as you do that, no matter how bad things get, your brain will tell you what's the next best thing you can do now. Not what you want to do, not what you wish you were doing, but what's possible right now. Of all the things going on, what's possible, which is a hell of a lot better than getting depressed and fearful and curling up in a ball and not knowing what to do next. Successful people are people who stay focused and calm when things go poor. It's easy to feel great when things are going well, The
True.
real successful people are the ones who handle when it isn't going well.
That's true. And from your experience, how can we stay focused? Like, for example, when studying, when reading, or when going about our business, our daily activities, how can we stay focused on that goal of ours? How can we
stay focused? You got to stay focused. If you're getting nervous, getting depressed, if you're feeling bad because someone said something you didn't want to hear, who cares? That isn't going to fix anything. And by the way, when people say something that you don't like, ask yourself, why did they say that? Now, if one person says, Toby, you talk too much, maybe that's their problem. If 10 people say, Toby, you talk too much, guess what?
What?
The only reason they all said it is someone was hearing you talk too much over and over and over again. Maybe you should listen. Maybe there's some advice here that might have, you don't want to hear it, but maybe that's a good thing. They're making you aware of something you don't see yourself doing. And one person, it's their opinion. And I wouldn't be too upset. One person, you talk too much. Well, when I was teaching, some people say, you don't teach enough memory. Then another person said, you don't teach, you teach too much memory. So it isn't that I'm doing it wrong. They have a different preference. So what I did is I made a memory program for the people who wanted more. So I could do more memory. Because the reading program was 4 hours. I figured, well, after 4 hours, they don't want 3 hours of memory. They're tired. So I could make that a different program, and then they could learn it when they're calm again and have energy. So I did it that way. But that's how I fixed things. I listened to people. People said, I don't understand this. In more than one city, and it was the same thing. That was me. I didn't teach it right. And over 35 years, I made changes over and over because I listened to people's problems, and I realized I couldn't do what I was doing and not create problems. So I changed it how I did it till I didn't hear any more problems. And I knew I hit the right. You have to listen. Just because it makes sense in your brain doesn't matter. That is in the brain of the person paying you. Learn it. That's all that matters. That's what we do at Berg Learning. We listen to people. We help them learn. We have a staff. If they have a problem, we very rarely do. We show them how to fix it. If we can't fix it, I do. I personally do it because I want to know what the problem is that's causing the confusion so I can eliminate it. The next time I redo the program, I'll fix it. So nobody else has that problem again. That's my job. And also my job as a Rotarian is to give them what they paid for. If they paid me money to learn faster and they're not learning faster, then I got to help them learn faster.
Of course.
I got to give them money back because I didn't give them what they paid for. And I don't want to give them their money back. I want to make sure they learn what they paid for. And I earned the money. They're paying me because I gave them what I promised. And that's the right way to do business. Give people what you promise and make sure they get what they paid for. I don't think that's expecting too much.
No, that's not. I will encourage everyone to visit berglearning.com to get more information about the courses. That's
berglearning.com. We're having a sale now. I think there's a 40% off sale. Plus, they need help. I'll give you my email. It's howard@berglearning.com. So if you have a question you need me to help you with, just send me an email, and I'll make sure I can help. There's 3 versions of the reading program for kids that can't read, like kindergarten. And they do that with their parent to learn how to learn, like the pegging we did earlier with the numbers. And then the next one up is for kids that can read, that are in junior high, high school, and college to get higher grades and learn hard material. And then the third one is for professionals like you and I, so to make more money at work because they have to use information to make decisions. And if they can use it better, they'll make more money and fewer mistakes. So we have all 3 versions of it for the different types of persons who might come.
Yes, all of this information will be available in the show note of this episode. So I encourage everyone to email Howard or to just go to the website and use
Berg Learning.
berglearning.com and use the sales code that's going on right now. 40% off all the prices for the courses. So you have to hurry up.
Code on this. The last time I looked, because I don't do that, my webmaster does. But the last time I looked, there was a code.
Yes, the code is new 40. NEW40 is a code for 40% off the prices of each course. Yes, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's important to me to help people. I think you read the news, it's pretty awful. I mean, you watch what's going on in the world everywhere. There's problems between the virus and Russia and exploding deficits and inflation. And it just goes on and on and on. And I feel like my job is to help people learn more so they can fix the problems. I can't fix every problem. I don't know everything. But if I help a doctor read 50 more books, they find a cure for cancer. Or a politician finds a peace opportunity.
Yes.
Or somebody figures out how to make fusion so we have clean electricity.
Yes.
I'm not going to be the one to find the solution, but I'll be teaching the person how to get the information they need to do it. So I'm helping them accomplish these things. I'm helping kids. I mean, they deserve not just to be given all these problems, but make them smart enough to fix some of the problems that we're giving to them. So I kind of feel like that's my job. My job isn't just to make money. If you can help people learn 3-4 times faster, understand more, be more insightful, be more in control of themselves and their actions, you can change the world.
Yeah, that's
you won't
true.
get everyone, but if you get people who can think better and make better choices, we're going to benefit from that. And I feel that's really what I'm supposed to do. That's why I do shows.
Yes, that's a very great mission to do. But Howard, do you believe that everyone is a genius, or is everyone born a genius?
Everyone can be. I know how to teach genius. I'll show you how if you'd like. I could show you the secret to being a genius.
Yes, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. First, I'll show what how genius works, and then I'll show you how to create it.
Yeah.
There's actually 3 levels of learning: literal, implied, and inferential. Literal is the words on the page. So if I say Columbus discovered the New World in 1492, and I said, who discovered the New World in 1492? You'd say Columbus.
Columbus, yeah.
But that doesn't mean you understand what happened. It means you know the answer to the question. What happened? What effect did it have on Europe, on the indigenous tribe? That's a whole nother level of learning. Implied learning is things you're supposed to know without having been taught. So if you're reading a book and it says the woman wore a red dress, you don't say, wait, what's a dress? What's wearing? What's a woman? You're supposed to know that, or else you can't read. The third level is knowing the meaning and significance. So I'm going to do an experiment with you. I want you to picture a circle with a dot in the middle, a big circle with a dot in the middle. What are you picturing?
A big circle with a dot in the middle.
Is that fascinating or not? Be honest.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
No, it's boring. It's a circle with a dot in the middle. It's nothing.
But yeah.
That's the way most learning is. It's the words on the page. Someone said, learn this for school or business. Why? Because I said so.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, why would I want to do this? Because I said so. That's what learning's like in school. Read the book. Why do I have to read the book? Because I said so. It's your homework. And it was boring. The next level up, the circle with a dot in the middle is a symbol of the sun in astronomy and also astrology, because once, not now, but many years ago, they were the same thing. Isaac Newton was an astrologer, Galileo. Back in that time, if you studied astronomy, you were probably also an astrologer at that time, not today. I'm pretty sure most astronomers aren't astrologers. Now, the third level, it's one of the meanings of life. How could that be? It's a circle with a dot in the middle. I'm going to show you how to learn on a deeper level. A point at the middle of the circle. Points are infinitesimally small. Wherever you look, there's an infinite number of points, but they're all invisible.
Yeah.
So it represents spirit or God. It's something that's everywhere you look, but you can't see it anywhere. It's wherever you look, it's there, and nowhere where you look do you see it. So that's what the point is. The circle is a boundary. Everything inside the circle is you. Everything outside the circle is what isn't you. So what does it say? In you and everyone, at the center is spirit. We're all one thing. We look different, we act different, we talk different, but everything's this one thing. So humanity is one thing. There's lots of people in humanity, but we're all one thing called humanity. We're only as good as the weakest and only as strong as the strongest. So brotherhood is more than a euphemism for being nice. You're connected to everything and everyone on the planet. And so our connection makes it vital that we learn to work together for the common good. Imagine if countries spent the money they spend on bombs, on food and education and jobs. No one would want to go to war. They'd have too many things going on in their life to want to blow anything up. It's like, leave me alone. I have a car, I have a house, I have a wonderful family. Everything's great. I don't want a war. It's when you don't have anything and you're broke, you've got nothing to lose and you're angry. That's when you go to war. You're greedy. That's when you go to war. So when we see each other as a single thing, instead of someone you have to beat, someone you have to take advantage of, but someone you can help and they'll help you. Cooperate instead of fighting each other and trying to get ahead of each other. It would make the world a much better place. They said the reason humanity became successful was not competition. It was cooperation. One person couldn't hunt the mastodon. It was too big. The village together, working as a team, could get enough meat for everybody. One person alone would get killed. And it's still true today. If we could learn to work together for the common good, so everybody benefits, we'd be a better world. So now let me show you how to get started. Would you like to see how it works?
Yes, please. Yeah, please show me.
The genius in our brain is not the conscious, but the unconscious. The conscious mind can only handle 7 things at a time, and not well. But basically, the most you can multitask is 7. Some geniuses can do 9. Some people are a little not quite there. They can do 5 or 6. But most people can basically think about 7 at a time. So the unconscious doesn't have that problem. It can do everything at once. The problem is the unconscious doesn't use words. It uses feelings or emotions. So sometimes you get a feeling, I think there's something I'm supposed to be doing right now. I don't know what it is, but I know I should be doing it. And if I don't, it's going to be really bad. That's the unconscious trying to tell you, hey, wake up, you're supposed to be doing something, but it doesn't tell you what it is. I found a way to translate the feelings into information, and I'm going to show you how.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
The unconscious brain is basically called the limbic system. It's in the middle of the brain, and it deals with these feelings. And so imagine you said, you ask questions that have an emotion to them. You said, Howard, do I need a root canal? I said, Toby, you need 10 root canals. You probably wouldn't like to hear that unless you're the dentist. That's not good news.
No.
You said, Howard, did I win the lottery? I said, Toby, you won $60 million. You probably feel very good about that.
Yes.
So ask your question. How should you feel if it's a yes, good or bad? How do you feel? Do you feel good or bad? Based on how you feel, you know if it's a yes or a no. And now you ask a bunch of questions, yes or no, and you feel them. And you're learning what the unconscious is trying to tell you by asking the right questions. Now, initially, you got to ask questions. But when time goes on, the way the brain works, if you connect 2 parts of your brain over and over again, it myelinates, it's superconductive, and becomes a powerful portal. So you're connecting the thinking part of your brain, the forebrain, with the midbrain that's emotional, over and over and over and over. Eventually, you don't even need to ask questions. The connection is so powerful, you can translate your intuition, your feelings into things super fast. In fact, I'm going to tell you something amazing. Magic is real, and I'm going to show you magic. Real, not card tricks, not illusions. Look around you. Everything you see is somebody's idea that became a thing. The microphone, someone thought of making it. The headset, your shirt, the room you're in was designed in someone's mind. Architect. Everything you see that wasn't created by nature, a plant, a rock, or an animal was someone's idea, something that was in their head, and they made it happen. Now you're using their idea. That's what magic is. It's turning your thoughts, your dreams, your hopes and wishes into reality, going from something in your head that no one can see or touch to out here where it's real and it's something everyone sees and uses. A good example, in the early 90s and late 80s, all cell phones looked a lot like Captain Kirk's phone. It flipped open and closed. That was the typical phone at that time.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Jobs looks at that and says, I could make a phone and put a screen on it and a processor and write software, and it'll be a little computer. And that's what he did. He made a smartphone.
Yeah.
And then he said, I can make it bigger. I'll call it an iPad. A company's worth $3 trillion today.
Yes.
He saw what everyone else saw differently. That's what geniuses do. Blockbuster was the biggest DVD retailer in the world. They bought trainloads of DVDs and they could sell them so cheaply, no one could compete. They all went out of business until Netflix says we don't need stores. We can do it in the mail. And they put Blockbuster out of business because they didn't change.
Yes.
And then another company said, we don't need mail. We can put a kiosk in front of a store, Redbox, and you can just pull it out of the machine. But Netflix got smart. How many people get DVDs today? They watch original programming. They went into programming online. Blockbuster could have done that.
Yeah.
They didn't. Another example, Sears and J.C. Penney made fortunes in America in the late 1800s, early 1900s, as the West was settled and there were no stores, or very few stores. Things you needed, you bought from a catalog, and they shipped it to you. And they got very rich. Jeff Bezos took that catalog and called it Amazon and put it online. It's a catalog. It's an online catalog. J.C. Penney and Sears never did that. They're going bankrupt. They both filed for bankruptcy. They had the catalog. They had the products. They had the people with marketing skills. No one said, hey, why don't we do this online? Because they were thinking stores. That's the answer. Stores. They were trying to make money with what worked 50 years ago and doesn't work today. Bezos used their idea in the 21st century and said, I'll do what they did, but online. Second richest man in the world. That's genius. He didn't come up with the idea. He simply took an idea and used it in a new way. That's how you become successful in today's world. You have to stay ahead of the competition. You have to be the one everyone else is trying to compete with. You have to come up with new ideas. If you think what you did yesterday will make you rich tomorrow, ask Blockbuster, ask J.C. Penney, and see how well that worked out for them. So just because it works today, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, don't count on it, because that's not how the world works anymore. What makes you successful today is what's between your ears. If you can learn and think and create and innovate, you will always be ahead and successful. If you're not, you're going to be watching what's going on and say, what happened? My company's going broke. My kids can't make a living. I'm in trouble and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. That's why Berg Learning is here, to give you the skills you need to be able to learn 2 to 4 times faster, understand better, connect the dots, then write, because reading is input. Writing is taking the ideas back out again and doing something with them. And all that's on the website. So I hope some of you will take an action today. I can't make you learn anything. I can help you if you want to be helped, but you have to take that step, and you'll be glad you did, because you'll realize finally you've got a way that you can stay ahead of what's going on in the world. And we really need that. And we need it for our kids, for school. We need it for our companies to make money, and for our parents. I'm 72. A lot of people my age are drooling. They can't remember what their name is. I'm writing. I wrote a 13-hour program last week. I wrote it from scratch and recorded it. And I went and swam a half a mile. That's what you're supposed to do. You want to stay young, you keep doing. You want to get old, get old. I don't. I'm going to stay young. I'm going to keep doing and acting and innovating and helping people. And that's why I'm here today.
Yes, that's so awesome, Howard. I really appreciate everything I've been able to learn from you. I encourage everyone to visit berglearning.com and get across, to the different platforms, get engaged with it, buy the courses right now because they are all 40% reduced with the code NEW40. I encourage everyone out there to buy it. So for people out there who still have more questions to ask you, who would love to interact with you personally, what's the best way to connect and work with you?
Well, if they email me, howard@berglearning.com, I could go on a Zoom meeting like we are, and I could find out what their needs are and how we can work together. I'm very big on joint ventures and helping other people make money through like marketing my programs and giving them a piece of it so they can make money from it also. Because every time we make money, we're also helping people. We're giving them, it's like a vitamin. I'm giving them a vitamin for their brain. It's going to make them smarter. So the more people I can make smarter, the better this is going to be for everybody. And there's going to be, I think of it as a family. I'm teaching my family what I know and what I do so they can do it in their life and they can have a better life too. And that's going to help bring peace to the world. It's going to help to make the world more prosperous. There's so many problems we have. We need smart people who can solve them. And it isn't going to be a magic trick or wishful thinking that makes it happen. It's going to come because people learn to learn better and they used it to learn more information and use it more effectively. And that's really my goal.
Oh, that's beautiful. Talking about being smart, and you are writing books in 5 hours, writing books in minutes, basically.
We can do that next time because I have another interview soon. But
all right.
Next time, if you'd like me back, I'll show you how to write a book in a day.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, that would be great. Okay, so
I can do that. You can do it. Yes, you can.
Yes, that would be great. For next time, we'll talk about that. Thank you so much, Howard. I really appreciate this.
that.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone. Please consider using this for your business and share it with your kids so they do better in school. Everybody wins. The kids don't live with you till they're 40 because they can't find a job when they get out of school, and you make more money while they're doing that. Everybody's happy. You're making money. Your kids are finishing school. They're getting good jobs. We had a group of 11 to 15-year-olds who wanted to start a not-for-profit to find a cure for Downs. And their first year, they made $93,000 US. They were 11 to 15, and they won the Silver Pyramid, the Oscar in advertising. They beat Red Cross and Rotary as the best not-for-profit company in America. They were 11 to 15. I think every child in the world needs to learn this so we can turn around poverty through understanding and education. And that's why I'm here. And hopefully you'll help me make that happen by going to the site, and you will be the next person to talk about what you accomplished because of what you learned. Thank you for having me.